Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing you a nice in-depth review on a newly released figure by Hot Toys. It's the 1/6 scale Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Classic from my childhood and many of your childhoods too. Unless of course you're one of those millennials. In which case all I can tell you is you had to be there because it was a pretty special time to be a kid. Great time to grow up. As usual, I'll try and go as in-depth as possible for you. We'll get some poses out of him, we'll change up the outfit, we'll try all the accessories, we'll pair him up with Vader here, and generally try to make the review as fun as possible and as watchable as possible. The boring part obviously will be when I talk about the instruction book and the different hands and all that yawny boring stuff. So let's get stuck in. I hope you enjoy this review. I'm going to try my best to enjoy making it. Whatever that means. Alright, so let's get through this accessory section pretty quickly because I do find it quite boring. So, you've got your arm here that you put the batteries in, and you've got your little on and off switch here. This is permanently in the hand, it's the gloved hand obviously, and that is for the light up feature for the lightsaber. Now obviously he's holding a lightsaber there that you can put both of these in, you don't have to light them up. And as you can see, this kind of motion blur effect lightsaber here, very bright even without any light going through it. Obviously the sunlight's coming in behind me. But it's very bright and very effective, and I actually am quite impressed with that. It's such a simple thing. It's literally just like a long slice of green pizza, but it's very effective. Much brighter than this single kind of just regular lightsaber that you usually get with the Hot Toys figures. Although it does have a very kind of cool effect running through it. Very hard to pick up on camera, I think, unless I really put in the effort, and I'm not going to. But it basically looks like if you had some green fizzy drink and it was frozen in time and all the bubbles just stopped moving, that's what's inside of the lightsaber. I think I can actually describe that quite well. Let me just pat myself on the back. Well done, Dean. So here's his blaster. That's what I'm going to call it. It might have a more technical name. The detail on this is actually rather scrumptious. You can see the weathering on there. Let me just go ahead and zoom in. But that is nicely done. Let's just flip her over, as one does. And yeah, again, fine weathering work there. You can see all that kind of worn away there. Really nice weathering. Some of the best weathering I've actually seen in recent times on a weapon. As small as it is, just a blaster, just a simple little blaster. But very nice. All right, we're getting a bit carried away now. Let me speed this up. There's his handcuffs, futuristic Star Wars style handcuffs. They feel very plasticky, and there's really not much going on there. Probably movie accurate. I mean, come on, it was the early 80s, I think. Some spare wrist pegs, some hands, some cool gesturing kind of force using hands like that one and that one. This one is your classic kind of, you will make me a cheese sandwich. I don't like cheese. I don't know why I said that. Forgive me, Nick. And by the way, shout out to Nick. We both hate cheese. That he is the one who pushed me to get this. I was, like I said in the unboxing, it was definitely on my radar, but I kind of put it off once it was released. I thought, yeah, I'm going to wait for Wolf Predator or maybe the Harley Quinn dancing version, just in case they come out soon. But Nick said, no, man, you got to get this. This is, Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. It's an absolute classic. You'd be a fool not to get it. And he was right. It's a very, very, very nice figure. So thank you, Nick. There's another gloved hand over there. All in all, let's see, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you want to count the one that's stuck on the arm here, 10. Here's your hooded cloak, which, the camera's not lying to you. It's got a strange kind of purpley color to it. I remember that as just being like a brown, but I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm no expert on Star Wars. That's why I only own about 3 figures. You get this nice sandy kind of option for his display stand. Obviously, you get this other one, which is meant to be Jabba's kind of palace floor that opens up into the pit. I did say in the unboxing you get 3 different versions of this. You don't. You actually get 2. My bad. Sorry for misleading you there. And this base has a nice kind of diorama bit that clips on the back here. You don't have to have these here. You can just, clip them off and not have that there. The box, you saw that in the unboxing. That's just the underlay card that's sort of covering up the tray that he comes in. All right, so that's the accessories covered. Let's just go through the instruction book quickly, and you can pause this and read it yourself if you want to. So there you go. More stuff there. We just open her up. For some of this stuff is actually pretty important, I guess. And there's a really good picture of how to do the hood, which I definitely should have looked at before I did the unboxing and True Light review yesterday. But I did all right. But that is how it's meant to be right there. But yeah, pause that and have a read if you want to. There's some more readage about the belt, how to take it off. There's a magnet for the flap on his top. That's how you take off the layer there. more stuff. You can just pause that if you want to. And yep, that's how you do that. Pause that if you wish. And is that everything? Oh, just one last little bit. Speed this up. So yeah, that's kind of an important bit. You might want to pay close attention to this. I ain't going near this. I really don't feel like it. It's not that I'm intimidated by a plastic arm. It's just I don't really see the point. I'm not going to use it myself personally, you know? If I'm doing photography with a lightsaber battle, I'm going to try my best to find. I don't know how they do it. People, use Photoshop and they make the lightsabers look really real. So I'm going to have to find an app or something that will let me do that on my phone. So let me just show you that. And there you go. That's how that works. And there you go. All right, that's it. That's enough. Boring. Okay, so let's do a bit of an articulation demo for you here. I've just got the camera on a tripod set up, so you don't have to put up with all the shaky cam stuff while I do this. So let's just start with something easy. Let's lift the arms up. That's your limit there, and they don't want to move any more than that. You can turn the arm here, and let's see how much of that we can get away with. He's got a nice double bend elbow. That always allows for way more options. Don't ask me quite what Luke's up to right now, but he's just demonstrating the pose, that's all. Or the posability, let's say. Just see what we can do. Well, you can bring his hands all the way up to his face. That allows for all kinds of cool poses and gestures and stuff like that. We can have a contemplative Luke. He's about to lightsaber through his cheek. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But yeah, great posability in the arms, it seems. So that's cool. But I really do like it when figures can get their hand right up to their face, because like I say, it just, for photography wise, it just opens up a whole bunch of opportunities. So maybe articulation in the torso may be better once you take this off, but if he does actually have a bodysuit on here to fill him out a little bit, I mean, that feels very stiff and restrictive right here. He really doesn't seem to have much turn in the waist, up and down a fraction, a little bit. Not too bad. You can work with it and you can get a decent lean backwards or forwards out of him. The head articulation, up and down. The head comes off not easily, but it's not a nightmare trying to actually get his head out of the socket here. That actually can be done pretty easily, in case you want to swap around your Luke heads, or maybe even swap his hairpiece around. Some people on Sideshow Freaks were pausing the screen when I was doing the unboxing so they can get a good look at this. So I'll just let you see that now. That's how that looks. Oh, damn, camera's not focusing on it. There we go. That should be enough for you. But that's bald Luke. So there's his hairs. He's got a magnet. It just attaches on there again. So yeah, good articulation in the head. It goes all the way around if you want it to. There was a protective bit of sort of plastic around his neck here to stop maybe the black outfit from staining the neck, but it doesn't rub up against the neck too much. There's a little bit of a gap there. Not so much of a gap, but I wouldn't say you'd have too much trouble with staining issues. I know they do happen sometimes, but I think you'll be okay. Now, leg articulation. Leg goes forward about that much. It doesn't really go back. He has a double bend in the knee, and ankle articulation is pretty damn good, I have to say. You won't have any trouble getting him to balance or stand up in a decent way. Plus the ankle pegs are nice and stiff. So leg articulation, pretty decent. I mean, you would be able to, at least this is one of those figures that you can come up with your own pose for it, and pretty much any pose you come up with is not going to risk damaging anything. There's no, like Spider-Man suits and Deadpool outfits, stuff like that, where we constantly worried whether the pose we've got him in is going to be the pose that ruins the figure. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that too much with this guy. The only thing you might have to look out for is, actually, do you know what? Let me just double check something here. Let me just zoom in. I thought I spotted a little bit of paint there, just under his chin. Those two little marks. Is that from his outfit touching his neck? I'm not sure. I mean, it might be, because why would Luke have two sort of, I don't know, does he have birthmarks there or something? Or beauty spots, whatever you call them. but that might be the collar touching the neck. So, somewhat concerning, it turns out. Go ahead and pop that back on. But I'd say, yeah, that would kind of make sense, because when I tip his head forward, that's where the tip of that collar meets the head there. So yeah, maybe you have to be careful with the collar staining the neck. But that's the only thing I've just run into now. So yeah, articulation test over. Now we've got some nice natural light here, so we'll take a nice look at the head sculpt. So like I said, that is slightly concerning. I'm pretty sure they weren't there when I got him. And that might just be a little bit of dye that's come off from the collar from when it's sort of rubbing up against the neck. So you have to be careful, man. There's always something with these things. High-end collectibles, my butt. What are you going to do? So let me just get a nice close-up here. Why do he suddenly looks like Michael J. Fox? There you go. Yeah, so great work on the skin, sort of freckles, imperfections, those kind of things. And the eyes are very glossy, as you can see, very alive. I should probably put the hair back on. It's probably throwing things off a little bit. Just wanted to show you all the options. Let's check out from all the angles. I think that looks like Luke. I think that looks like Luke. I think that looks like Luke. That slightly askew, downwards, askew again, looking up. That's always an interesting angle. I think with head sculpts, it always tends to make them look pretty good. Sort of slightly off to the side and looking up. Side profile. Obviously, like I said in the unboxing, the hair is separate from the head, so you kind of get that realistic separation of the hair and the skin, rather than it all being one piece. So that's cool. There's the teeth. Some people don't like the teeth and would have preferred just a closed mouth. Given the choice between this or just a straight closed mouth, I might have gone for a closed mouth personally. But this doesn't bother me. It gives me more options for photography, I think. Just kind of opens up a few more doors of possibility. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. No complaints from me personally, and just, that's just the honest opinion. I think this is a very good Luke Skywalker head sculpt with two odd little marks under his chin that are now starting to frustrate me somewhat. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the base. This back section here attaches there. They just you push the back section down and these will just come out. So that's very simple to do. I do like it. I love stuff like this. Reminds me of the recent Daredevil figure. Or was it the Punisher? I think Daredevil came with a kind of like a street, but with like bricks and stuff at the back. Very nice. And then you just remove this. And I do that one-handed. Okay, yeah, so you remove that, and this is how it just looks without any of these card sort of designs on here. I don't think there's a bit you can peel off and make this into like a sticker so you could permanently kind of stick it down. I think they literally just rest there, although they do tend to sort of curl up a little bit on the sides at the edges, which totally kills the look. But I'm sure there's temporary little ways around that, maybe a tiny little smidgen of blue tack just to keep it sort of stuck down in place. With a wide enough stance, maybe if the figure's feet are both sort of plated down here, maybe that might sort of limit that sort of curl up look a bit more. And here is the second option, the sand, for when he's escaping from Jabba's ship of death, with the Sarlacc pit and all that stuff. Ship of death, just what I'm going to call it. But the sort of grey bit around the sand sort of kills that bit as well. I suppose you'd have to take this off in order to use this and make it look like it makes sense. But yeah, that's the base. I do like it. It's nice. Good to have options. I wish more figures came with a lot more of these. Just, it's a small thing, but it does kind of just help with the overall look. I mean, for example, let me just take you over here. I did this myself, but you've got your regular Suicide Squad bases here. Pretty plain. There's the Harley Quinn one. I do like this because of the prison sort of bars shadowing on the ground, and this one with the broken concrete. And this one I did myself for a figure that's on the channel if you want to check that out. But that, it's only a small area that he's standing on, but it just makes a hell of a difference. Okay, so bear with me a moment here, guys. I'm going to try and remove this as easily as possible. It's more just getting the belt off him that's going to be the only thing that I need to think about here. I need to revert back to the instruction book and find out where that point was that it undoes. Looks like it's there. But yeah, let's get this thing off him and we'll just have the all black look. which I think is way cooler. Well, that's just Velcro, so that was super easy. Just so you know, Velcro strap there. And then we've got more Velcro here. So that just undoes there. Does that completely come off? Yes, it does. So that's another little, what would you call that? A shawl, strap, belt thing? I don't know. Then this will come off very easily. Okay. Well, all that stuff was very easy to remove. Just Velcro, really. And just comes off, no problem. And here he is in his all black look. I have seen some people saying that he looks a bit, not fat, but he is wearing some kind of padded, just body padding underneath his outfit here. Maybe someone will be good enough in the future to take the whole thing off and let you see exactly what's going on under there. Ain't gonna be me. So here's this little bit here. That's a magnet, I think, holding it in place, and there might be some kind of just subtle wire going on there so that you can fold that over, like he does have that in certain parts of the movie. But there's your all black look. I doubt I'd ever put that back on again, to be honest. There's just it's just not really my thing. I've never really been too keen on that particular look, but definitely this look from his fight with Vader, and obviously with the hooded cape. I think that's probably the look I'll be rocking. Ooh, hello, Mr. Hair. Get off. Get off my robe, you pesky little morsel. Ooh, tool. Looking at him from the side, I wouldn't say he looks overweight, or like the suit that's padding him out a little bit under his outfit is making him look out of proportion. I think he looks okay. That seems to be pretty much in proportion. So no complaints from me on that end of things. You know what? I almost forgot. Let's go ahead and put his belt back on, because he's got nothing to hang his lightsaber on at the moment. So we'll just put that back. Now that's nifty. You've got two little bits of Velcro here and two bits of Velcro there. Obviously this is the front of the belt, so they are held in place there, and obviously the Velcro does up at the back. So you've got 2 points at the front as well to keep it in the right position and keep it on there nice and sturdy. So nice thinking, Hot Toys, on that one. Vader's trying to tempt him over to the dark side. Join me and together we'll rule the galaxy as father and son, or you'll face the red saber's sting. Make your choice, son. The clock is ticking. Yeah, I could have played Vader. Look at him. Standing there in front of his dad. Awesome. Whispering evil nothings in his ear. He's clenching that fist because he's trying to resist. Remember that he's on the good guy's side. Don't do it, Luke. Don't turn to the darkness. Do a little height comparison between these two, so you can just see how that is. They're both on the same level base. I mean, the bases are pretty much exactly the same size as each other. I guess Vader's little strip of card is giving him a little bit of an advantage, but nothing even worth taking into the equation, to be honest with you. So there they are, side by side. And that looks awesome. Again, shout out to Nick. Thanks, Nick, for making me go ahead and get on with getting Luke. Very glad to have these. If I only had Luke and Vader in my collection to represent Star Wars, I think I'd be a happy enough man. They look very cool together. Very, very nice. And that Vader is something special. Again, it's the Rogue One Vader. Hot Toys are going to be releasing the Empire Strikes Back version of Vader pretty soon. And I can only assume they're going to be doing a Return of the Jedi version as well. I'm not too sure what the difference between Empire Vader and Jedi Vader are. Maybe just some slightly different coloured flickering lights or something. But I'm pretty happy with Rogue One Vader, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. See how it goes later on down the line. But there they are, side by side. Just so you can see. Quite an impressive pair. Alright, I'm just warming up, so don't judge me too harshly here. I'm just trying out the motion blur kind of lightsaber option for the first time. Just having Vader using one arm, because I just remember that from Return of the Jedi when they first start fighting. He's just using one arm because he's such a beast. He's kind of showing him who's boss. It's like, I only need one arm to fight you, son. Literally. Vader versus his only child. Is he his only child? I'm not sure. I really need to do my research. But that looks pretty sweet. I really do like that effect. it's very cool. You don't even need to have it lit up. It's just bright enough, to be honest. I mean, looks fine to me. Yep. There's a nice little scene for you. Alright, let me see if I can make it look a little bit better. But yeah, that ain't too bad. Ain't too bad. I think it'd probably be better seeing as Vader's only really able to... Well, no, he can use both hands as well. I've done that in the past, holding on to the lightsaber. He's a little bit more cumbersome because he's a big chunky figure with a fair bit of armor around him, but he can do it. Luke, has no problem holding on to the lightsaber with both hands. That needs a tweak. Well, Vader's looking cool, but as I'm posing Luke more and more, I mean, I'm only doing little arm tweaks here just to do like a little lightsaber battle. But remember what I showed you before with the collar touching the neck and leaving a mark? That's getting worse. So I want to swear and say some real on-the-nose, truthful things about Hot Toys right now, but what can you do? I mean, I'm sure it's not a malicious thing. They're not making these clothes thinking, ha, they're going to buy this and then the dye's going to bleed onto the figure's skin and it's going to look awful. It's just one of those things, so bear that in mind. Even if you don't pose this guy, and if you have his head like even slightly forward, even slightly, it's going to touch that collar and you're going to end up with those marks on the neck there, and that is very, very annoying. I guess I'll go upstairs in a minute and get like a Q-tip and maybe just try and get a bit of water and try and rub that away without screwing up the actual paint job on the head sculpt itself. But I've barely done anything with this figure and already we've got something that's pretty unsightly, and once you know it's there, you've got that horrible feeling of, oh man, I had a nice mint brand new figure and now it's got a problem, and if I ever wanted to sell it, I'd have to say, oh, I'm selling it for this much because it's got an issue on the neck with the collar, blah, blah, blah. It's just, oh man, don't swear. But there you go, guys. That's something you need to be aware of, all of you, every single one of you. So I suppose you could do the whole thing where you take this off and then, I don't know, do whatever people do to get the excess dye out of the clothing before they, go to town on the figures posing them. But this is a very sort of tight-fitting, I don't want to be messing around trying to take this off. So I guess I'm just going to try what I said and go upstairs now, get a Q-tip and see if I can kind of rub that away. And I'll get back to you. But as far as posing this figure anymore goes, I really don't want to do it because already we've got we've got ourselves a little bit of a nightmare situation. Yay, fun. Hot Toys. Thanks a lot for that. Vader, strike him down. I don't care if he's your son. Do it. Okay, folks, good news. I got some cotton buds here. I think you call them Q-tips in the USA. But I was able to get rid of those marks completely and 100% get rid of them just by gently rubbing away on the neck area. I mean, maybe if you get in real close you can still slightly see something. I just need to do that a little bit more thoroughly, but I have managed to get rid of the markings. Let me just take him out into the natural light in the sunlight because it's a really nice sunny day today. This is a figure that looks just very real in the natural light. I think Ruby's coming out. You coming out, Rubes? Oh, off she goes. So yeah, very incredible sort of detail on his skin. The skin tone, I really like the way that's done. But just a very real looking head sculpt. And in natural daylight, it really does come alive. The light hits his eyes. It's very impressive to see. So yeah, managed to get rid of the markings on the neck. So I guess it's not exactly, like a false alarm because you will run into that, but at least you know that it will come off. So yeah, take from that what you will. That was scary, but I'm glad that it wasn't a major problem thanks to these little guys. Just in case you're super dense, it's those little doohickeys, then whatever you call them. I'm sure every country has those. Did the job just fine. He looks he looks odd. Luke on the ground, about to be potentially struck down by Lord Vader. An epic little angle there for you. Just soak it up. Now I did spray paint my Vader's lightsaber a nice vibrant red because it just wasn't doing it for me. And I'll be honest with you, I may end up doing it to this one too, although this one is actually really good and I may very well just leave it. Because Vader's red saber was very much just kind of a very faded pink originally. Just was not doing it. So, but this is a lot better. I may very well leave it, but I might spray paint it a nice vibrant green just to kind of measure up to what Vader's wielding there. Alright, just using one of these kind of more force wielding hands. I can get the camera to focus on it. There you go. Yeah, nice work on the hand sculpts here. Flesh tone still nice and detailed. But Luke may be going for the less deadly option here, sort of holding the lightsaber back behind him. Got the feet in a nice position. Really good posability in his legs and ankles. Maybe going for a little force swipe to get some stormtroopers out of the way, instead of striking them down as Vader would. Yeah, you know he don't mess around. We've seen Rogue One. Now that same hand again, but you could use it for really sort of concentrating. Maybe something that requires, you know, a higher level of the Force, a much deeper concentration. So he's putting the old ends of his digits there to his temple. Whatever he's about to do, it's pretty serious. But yeah, it's just another little option for that hand. You always put it on his chin as well. A contemplative Luke. Let's see if we can just bust that out for you. You can just see it from a ridiculously weird angle while I do it. You gotta be careful. Oh, now there's a bunch of things you could do here, but more for comedy's sake. He's, he's doing the old Robert De Niro, I'm watching you. Or maybe he's sniffing his fingers, little whiff, or poking himself in the eyes, or maybe poking someone else in the eyes. Boop. But yeah, there's lots of different things you could do with that hand. Just pop him up here. Go on. There you go. He's just having a whiff. Thumbnail maybe for the review? I don't know. Give it a try. It's pretty decent, to be fair. Unsightly wrist peg, but what are you going to do once you bend the arm that much? That's what's going to happen. I just wanted to try one where he's holding the lightsaber with both hands. I need to do that better though, but I just wanted to get this angle at least before I try and do that again. He's getting ready to have a proper lightsaber duel here. That's pretty sweet. Now, before I forget, I honestly, I'm sorry I don't remember your name right now, but I just remembered it as I was filming the review. Someone on Facebook sent me a message and said they noticed something on a lightsaber handle with Luke here, and they wanted to know whether all of them had a scratched look. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for here or what you guys are looking for, but one of you out there in particular did want to see this up close. So I hope that helps. It looks pretty clean to me. I mean, there's a seam going down the side there, which you can see. Yeah, it seems to be pretty neat. Neatly done, neatly painted. Nice little green and orange buttons there. It looks alright to me. So maybe the one you saw, Mr. Facebook Dude, was kind of maybe just a one-off. Obviously there is that seam there as well, but that's just where it sort of sticks together. No, seems alright. Yeah, just trying out some different kind of stances. Not using a groin grabber to hold him up. It's got really good balance and articulation so far, even though the actual torso articulation is hindered by whatever's going on underneath this black outfit. Some kind of thin bodysuit just to fill him out a little bit perhaps. And it does seem to be hindering the torso articulation, but I'm still able to get a fair bit of work out of him. He looks very good. I'm very impressed. I'd honestly recommend him. I think he's a fine piece. Alright, now I just want to move in again on the head sculpt. Get a nice good look. Zoom in nice and close. Check it out from a few different angles. And you can always go ahead and just take screenshots or just pause it. Really examine this. Get that focus happening for you. There you go. Look at the eyes, man. The eyelashes underneath. Coming around here. Yeah, that's a sick angle right there. That really looks like Mark Hamill. And there too. Just the eyes, man. The gloss, the paintwork, very realistic. Alright, well. Very impressed with the head sculpt myself personally. I ain't gonna lie to you. If it was off and I was seeing other people, I'd tell you. But I think it looks very good. I'm sure most of you would have preferred a closed mouth. Me personally, I'm good either way. I think it looks pretty sweet. Let's just check it out from the side here as well. Right up in there. Nice detail on the sculpt of the hair as well, the wavy kind of hair effect. Texture of the skin. Don't know if you can pick it up too well, but he's even got cracked lips. It's really detailed. Yeah, we'll just check him out from this angle. He does have a butt. Some figures have very odd butts, like the regular Batman Dawn of Justice version up there in between, you know, just right up there. His butt is very strange. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's true that Batman figure has a legendary odd shaped behind, figure-wise, and Luke seems to be all in proportion. Again, coming back to the thing I've seen about some people saying he looks fat, maybe from certain angles, but I mean, from here he looks just about right. Using a bit of force action again with the putting the fingers to the temple, I just think it looks kind of cool. And reaching out or pushing something away, or maybe, well, we could be doing a multitude of things here really, but that just looks pretty sweet, to be honest. I'm gonna have to take a picture of this, pop it on the gram. Make sure you're following me on there, same name as on here, Dean Knight 333. Put a lot of stuff on Instagram that doesn't end up on this channel, so it might be shorter, but it doesn't make it any less sweet. Huh? Hey, back up off him, come back a little bit. I mean, that just looks real. Okay, right at this moment we can't see any wrist pegs. That's Mark Hamill from Return of the Jedi using the Force on us right now. Just saying, don't believe the BS by me. Because he's a sick piece. Return of the Jedi, I don't think it's quite as good as Empire Strikes Back. They've already done the Empire Strikes Back DX. I think this head sculpt has improved upon, you know, just quality and likeness. Although, from what I remember, I'd have to go back and double check again. It's been a while since I've seen it. Obviously, Nick, legend that he is, he let me borrow that particular Luke Skywalker figure from Empire Strikes Back, and his Vader, and other stuff as well, Boba Fett and all kinds of figures. I had to do a whole bunch of cool Star Wars showcase videos. So, yeah, not to go promoting those right now, but if you are new to the channel, there is some pretty special stuff Star Wars wise on the channel that's not just like this with me talking about a figure and posing it. I used to do a lot more kind of showcase videos, a lot more photography and special effects and cool soundtracks, and I actually recreated the fight as best I could between Vader and Luke from Empire Strikes Back and the Hobbit, where he reveals that it's his father, all recreated in 1/6 scale thanks to Nick and Mike Oldfield, who made the real lightsabers. And it took about 2 weeks to put that video together, so that's on the channel. Just go to my channel and type in Empire Strikes Back showcase video, you'll find it easy. There's also a Dark Knight Rises one, very similar to that required the same amount of work, but I used to do some pretty out there stuff showcase video wise. I mean, you'd be working at one of those babies for about 2 weeks sometimes, but they were fun to do. I didn't miss doing them, but working full time, like night shift, just takes it out of you, and you find yourself lacking in the energy that you once had when you were in your 20s. I'm on the wrong end of 30 now, so it's getting hard to muster up the energy to bust out those high effort showcase vids. But anyway, just coming back to this, I think that looks amazing. That's a hell of a pose. I could leave them like that quite happily for a while, but I really want to get to the hood and the cape. I'm sure a lot of you want to see that as well. That's the way I always imagined that I would display him, with the hood. So yeah, just soak this up one more time. I think that's really cool looking. Oh, and check out the Yoda video as well. Just type in Yoda. I'm sure you'll see the video where he's back on his little home planet, chilling out. That was a good one. Look at that. That's amazing. Let me know what you think of this pose. What do you think of this one? And, you know, even be honest if you're one of the guys watching this who doesn't like the way this figure turned out. I mean, how do you think it looks right now, sort of thing? You know, would you sort of say that this angle here, I don't know, whatever. I just really like it. I think it's very strong likeness here. I think that's really nailed it, to be honest. I know he doesn't do anything like this in the movie, but yeah. Right, he's really going for it now with the concentration. Obviously he's using both hands to do this, whatever he's doing, so requires a lot of focus. Look at that. Ridiculous. Striking down Vader. Okay, so it's time to get the hooded cloak on Luke Skywalker here, which is the look I like the most, I think. So I want to try and replicate this pose, kind of classic pose as he first walks into Jabba's lair or Jabba's palace, whatever you call it. Now I want to try that with the hood up and down. I would suggest doing the pose with your hands first before you put this on him. It's very simple to put this on. You literally just drop it over his shoulders and that's it, pretty much. So yeah, do the hands first, get them in position as best you can, and then put his hooded cloak on afterwards. And see how it looks. Right, totally raw. It's literally just gone straight on there. I mean, you can tell by the look of the actual hood right now that I haven't done nothing to this yet. But one thing I want to say is, I mean, it's brown there. I mean, that looks like brown to me. The camera's not lying to you on that one. That's brown. And then you come over here and it's I'm looking at it. It's even more purple with the naked eye. I'm looking at it through the camera. It's kind of got this kind of slight browny purple vibe to it. But then when I look with my actual eyes, it's just straight up purple. So I don't know what is going on with that. I really don't understand. But, well, anyway, let's get that hood fixed. But yeah, color difference between that and this. Okay, so I want to try and copy that exactly, the shape they've got there. And let's try and make that work, because right now he looks like Little Purple Riding Hood. Okay, so we've got them all posed up. I'll just pan up now and let you see. Now the hood is a bit of a pain in the butt to get that looking anywhere near how it's supposed to look, and I'm about 70% there. I'm definitely not claiming to have mastered the hood posing just yet. But it looks pretty decent. We can make it more silhouette-y and kind of bring the shadow down around his face by bringing that forward slightly. Maybe that's a little bit better, because he was very concealed under that hood when he first entered Jabba's lair. Yeah, I mean, posing the hands beforehand really did help. Didn't have to worry about that once the hood and the cloak went on him. It looks pretty decent. Maybe just reveal a little bit more. There you go. Just getting close. Yeah, that's Luke, alright. Very nice. Well, that's how I'd like to display him, but he's such an interesting and sort of diverse, I mean, well, diverse, but you can just have him at least 3 or 4 different ways, and because, you know, you can pose him with the lightsaber, you don't have to worry about, you know, suit ripping or stretching or anything like that. Kind of seems like a bit of a shame to just leave him really, I guess, I don't know, we can call it boring. I really just, it's the look I've always kind of wanted for him. I'm going to tweak this a lot more, and, well, you'll see what my final pose will be when it comes to displaying him on the shelf. I'll let you know about that. I'm also going to do an actual pose session with Luke and Vader, but mostly Luke, because I know that's what you came to see. I'll do that video probably tomorrow night, because I want darker lighting for this. I just want to use my LED light in the dark and get some nice moody pictures of Luke, because everything I've shot of him so far has been in the, you know, the summer daylight. So definitely needs a bit more of a moody setting for some photography and poses. So there will be a pose session video for this guy coming up very soon as well. Alright, maybe just turn him to the side maybe a little bit. We can see how that looks. His hood's looking a bit pointy. See, now the sides are starting to flare out and it looks Funkatronic. Yep, Starting to look a little bit funky. Let's abandon that. Well, there's something Christ-like about this one. He coming across very, very Christy. Might be that kind of sympathetic head tilt. So only Christ can do. Yeah, that's him with the hood down. Let's just untilt that, shall we? It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Maybe a kind of sympathetic lean in. Yes, my child. What troubles thee? Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. A nice, relaxed, calm, zen, obviously etched in wisdom and the ways of the Force. Knowledge literally oozing from every pore. Yes, a wise Luke. A Luke that looks away in ponderment and wonder at what might be. Yes. Now I'll just show you, I've got his head tilted down really low, which, as we saw before, might not be a good idea because of what the collar was doing to the neck. That kind of weird dye or whatever it was that was rubbing onto the skin of his neck there. It was easy to remove with the cotton buds, but I don't want to have to do that more than once if I can help it. But just to let you know, that's how that would look. A very thoughtful Luke. Head down, hands together, cloak around him. Yep, that's how that looks. Looks pretty cool. Hit it from underneath. That looks good. Hit it from above. That also looks very good. Okay guys, I'm not sure how long this review is going to clock in at, but I'm going to wrap it up now because I have a feeling it's starting to drag on a little bit. So, I'm going to bring you a pose session with Luke, featuring Vader as well. Going to get started on that probably tomorrow night, and get the lighting a bit more moody than it has been for the last few videos with Luke. But would I recommend it to people? Well, I would have said absolutely 100%, but that issue with the collar kind of rubbing black dye or whatever it was onto the skin of his neck on the head sculpt, even though I was able to easily remove it with those Q-tips or cotton buds, whatever you want to call them, that's a worrying thing. I mean, God only knows what the actual body underneath is going to look like. That there may be some kind of protective kind of suit. Maybe that's what the bodysuit underneath the black outfit is. Maybe that's some kind of protective layer that they've got there between the actual Hot Toys body and the black outfit itself. That could be the case. I'm sure that information will get to us eventually. So given the fact that during the course of filming this review I've discovered that thing with the neck happening, that's the thing. I mean, like I said, I was able to remove it, so it's up to you guys. That's a bit of a pickle, to be honest. I can't really say to you, yeah, absolutely go out and get this, because you're going to be dealing with, you know, whatever that was rubbing onto his neck, and you're going to have to try and remove it. So that's frustrating, because everything else about this piece I love. If it wasn't for that situation with the neck, I would be 100% telling you to, you know, just get this as soon as possible, because it's a beautiful looking figure, and I still would recommend it. Just do what you got to do. I'm sure some of you out there have your ways. Like I said, some of you might take off the black outfit and then, you know, get the excess dye out somehow and then put it back on him. So yeah, all I can tell you is I'm very glad I have him, and relieved I was able to get rid of any mess off his neck, and he's all back to normal again. So that's good to know. He looks great with Vader, and he's from a classic, Return of the Jedi. So, like I said in the unboxing, it is one of the coolest versions of Luke that you can get, and it's the one a lot of people have been waiting for. So I wouldn't say there's much reason to be disappointed, unless you're just dead against the head sculpt. And I gotta be honest, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it's clearly awesome. You know, say what you will, that is Mark Hamill from Return of the Jedi, and it's absolutely incredible sculpt. I'd say it's one of Hot Toys' best. They've got a lot of bests. There are literally 100 best Hot Toys head sculpts, maybe even more. I don't know how many figures they've made, but yeah, this is one of them. I would definitely go on, you know, record as saying that. Absolutely awesome likeness. All right, so keep an eye out for the pose session coming up real soon. That's going to be worth checking out. And yeah, you've probably already watched the unboxing by now. If you haven't seen the True Light review outdoors, check that one out. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comment section if you did. And drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notifications on future videos and you don't miss anything. Follow me on Instagram, DKnight333, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks again for watching, guys. This has been the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. Take it easy. Bye-bye.